Hi. How's everybody doing? Um, I got an audio interface hooked up. Let's see if it's working. I don't know if you can hear that because I want you to be able to hear the 8-track today. Hopefully that worked. Well, there you go. Little pickin' intro. Little pickin'. Be right back. I'm gonna put down my guitar and hopefully that works. So, all right. Well, what are we doing? How are things? How's life? Things are good over here. What did happen this week? Let's talk about what happened this week. I'll put my guitar right here. What happened this week? Let's see. Um, what happened? What happened this week? I released the, what do you call it? We got the PCB, the schematics and PCB done for the, ESP32 sampler, which is great. And, hopefully get it sent out soon. Got some really good feedback about the circuit, and so I'm very excited to make some changes to that, and then I'm going to send it off to likely, one of those ones that everybody uses, like, PCB Way or whatever. I think it'll be a lot better than the CNC. Yeah, I think it'll just be a lot better. And I hope it wasn't too much of like a disappointment for people, uh, that I'm going to go with kind of like a pocket operator kind of feel. Um, hey, Brian, what's up? Thank you, by the way, thank you very much for the feedback about the circuit. I really appreciate it. As I said, I normally get people to look over my stuff, so um, it's nice having, an extra set of eyes on stuff. But yeah, I hope everybody's not too disappointed. Hopefully people weren't expecting like a really fancy schmancy um, enclosure and stuff for the ESP32 sampler. I've said this in the past, I'm kind of on a budget with these projects. So, I have to be kind of, I got to spend my money wisely, sort of thing. So, um, yeah, so I'm going with a pretty bare bones kind of look, kind of feel to it, but as I said in the video, the the um the sampler is kind of like a really basic sampler, right? And it's super lo-fi, so, you know, um yeah, it just doesn't feel like it needs like a full-on um fancy schmancy enclosure and stuff. So anyway, um, yeah, yeah, I'm really happy with how it's going though, and then hopefully get it sent out in the next couple days. I'm just gonna give it a couple more days. I've got a couple other people that are looking it over for me. Actually, they messaged me and said they were looking it over. So yeah, I'm just gonna incorporate the design stuff that Brian had mentioned, and yeah, and then it's gonna be ready to go. I'm really excited to get it back here and get everything soldered up and get it sort of finalized. Yeah, and then that project will be done. We'll be able to move on with our lives and to do some more stuff. Hoping that I get to do some more. I'd like to do There's a couple things that I started a couple months ago. I was going through an article of like Baz Fuss pedals, so transistor based, kind of like fuzzy pedals for guitar that I'd like to explore a little bit more, and some little tiny amps. Because this amp that I've been using for stuff isn't that loud, so I'd like to experiment with a couple other like little pocket sized amplifiers, just mess around with stuff during the summer. And then probably in September, I'm going to start the SP 1200. Um, my oldest kid will be back in school and stuff, so I'll have a lot more time to kind of dedicate to that. Um, and yeah, and then I'm also going to be working on the basement tomorrow. I'm going to start framing the walls and stuff. Hey, Abnorm, what's up? Thanks for uh, thanks for coming out, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, SP 1200. I think I'm going to start September. Um, that's the plan. I think. I was just saying that I think I'm going to do some more for the rest of the after the ESP32 sampler's finished. I think I'm going to do some more guitar stuff. Oh, okay, cool. That's awesome. That's awesome to hear, Brian. Thanks for letting me know. That's awesome. Yeah. Um, but yeah, then yeah, I'm gonna do some more guitar based stuff, I think. For the rest of the summer while my oldest kid is here, at home for the summer. How much will it cost us to build one? That's a great question. I think I need to do when I get the PCBs back from after I send it out. I'm gonna kind of make like a itemized list of all the components that I'm gonna be using, and I'll do like a bill of materials and kind of like an estimated cost. Um, Hopefully, it'll be cheap, and if the PCBs, if I have a extra, if the PCB comes back and it's, um, you know, it's gonna work first time out, then I might, yeah, I might. Oh, that's a good question. That's a really good question. Um, I'll look into that, but that's a really good question. Maybe I should look into that because that would be pretty cool if everybody could do it at the same time. Hey, Ed, thanks for coming out. Yeah, that's a really good question. Let me think on that. Let me think on that. But yeah, I was kind of thinking that if I have extra PCBs, because I think most places have like a minimum order. Um, so maybe I'll do something where maybe if the PCB comes back working really, right off the bat, maybe I'll think about like you know, doing some kind of giveaway or something. Is that weird? I don't know. Maybe we'll do something like that, for everybody who's oh, that would be a good idea too. Yeah. Like a Google Doc kind of thing. Yeah. Or maybe I could make like a GitHub repository. That might be a cool idea. I just don't want to waste people's uh time and resources, and money. So I just want to, when I get the board back, I really want to make sure that it works um, before I offer it up to people. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, that's a really good idea, though. I really, you know what? That I'm gonna have to think about that. Let me think about that because I don't think I can't imagine. I'm a huge fan of the SP 1200, but don't. Yeah, same here. Same here. Yeah, I'm a huge fan as well. Um, But yeah, I would like to figure out a way that everybody. I think the ESP32 sampler is a good um, thing that we could do. Uh, that would be a good testing ground for me. So maybe that one will just end up being sort of like a GitHub repository when I'm done all this, that everybody can just go and get their own board made. But the SP1200, I think Abnorm brings up a good example, or a good point, that it would be cool if everybody could follow along and do the SP1200 with me. That would be kind of cool. So let me think about that. Let me think about that. That's what I'm doing with my project. I want a 202, but I made my own and just dove into C++ learning. Yeah. Been waiting. Is Behringer doing their, are they doing an SP1200? I'm kind of curious because that's interesting. That's really interesting. Yeah, we need to look into this because there's definitely a way that it can be a little bit more of like a community based project. I think that would be really cool. I really like that a lot. I really like that idea a lot. Because, interesting. Okay. Okay. Well, that's good to know. That's good to know. I mean, I think what we're looking for, right, is we're looking for like something uh, that has sort of like similar specs to the SP1200 and maybe, but with maybe some modern touches. I think that's probably a really good idea. But yeah, that's a really cool idea. Making it more sort of like a community based project. That's an interesting, yeah. I'm gonna think about that. Let me think about that, guys. That would be really cool if everybody could really follow along. You know what I mean? Um, and if I'm starting it in September, it would give me a chance to kind of um, really research the microcontroller I want to use. All the hardware that we would need. Um, I don't know, everything, right? Like breadboards, stuff like that, anything that we would need to build um, the project. So let me think about that. That's a really awesome idea. I love that idea though. I really do. Thank you, Abnorm, for making that suggestion. That's a really great idea. I was also thinking, no, I have one. A pretty, I've got a 12-bit DAC that I've been messing around with. Um, that I think, uh, you know, could work. I don't know if it's going to be like the exact same kind of thing. We're gonna, like I said, I think we're gonna have to take a look at the specs and see what I can find out about the parts. Maybe if we can dig up some schematics and stuff, because that would be really cool if we could all build it together and then we'd all have our own SP1200 at the end of it. That would be pretty awesome, I think. And then we could kind of collaborate on it. That would be really cool. That would be really, really cool. I really like that idea a lot. Yeah, because it seems like I think Ed even mentioned when we were chatting that he would look into an SP1200 too. So like if the four of us, ended up with an SP1200 at the end of it, it would be really cool. So maybe we'll shoot for like a September kind of start. You know what I mean? Um, of building this SP1200. So I'll start kind of like gathering stuff and then we'll kind of document the process. That would be really, really fun. I think that would be really fun. So yeah, I really like it. I really like that idea a lot. I really do. Um, cool. Yeah. Uh, there are a few DIY SP1200s here on YouTube, and also, yeah, is it Isla? Isla? Yeah, I've seen those. Um, so the DACs are out there, right? Or a similar one. I'm curious if the new I've seen there's a guy. Um, what's his name? I think his name's Malo Beats, and he bought one of the Isla ones. Um, and he makes beats on his channel with that one. And I'm kind of curious. Uh, and so like if we want to go over, if we want to take a look at his videos, he might, I think he goes into kind of like detail that we could like really break down the workflow and see if they've updated it at all, because they might give us some cool ideas for the build. So that would be something to look into as well. Um, but yeah, I like it. I like it. Um, and yeah, I think, like if we can dig up some schematics and stuff of the original and maybe even with the newest revision. I think that would be really, really smart, you know. Um, but yeah, they sound exact except the 2400 has 16-bit too. Oh, okay, not only 12. So are you able to switch between 16 and 12? That's really interesting because that'd be something that we could look into as well. I know that Brian and Ed, I think, both use the same DAC for their project, and their project sounds really cool. So yeah, yeah. He does a lot of MPC, the newer MPC stuff too. I used to watch him a lot when I had a MPC one. Um, because I wasn't really, I was more of like an Ableton guy, right? And so I was going back and trying to do it. Yep, there's a switch on the back. Interesting. Okay. That would be kind of neat. So you could have like more of like a hi-fi kind of sound. Oh, okay, cool. Nice. Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, he's a great beat maker, and he goes into depth. He goes into pretty good detail on his workflow and how things work. So, and I'm pretty sure he bought one of those newer the 2400s. Because they're like, yeah, I'm just pretty sure that he bought one. So, like I said, we could yeah, honestly, Abnorm, I didn't like it either. I had the MPC one, and I just didn't. I honestly, I just didn't jive with it. Um, I didn't really like the. Yeah, I didn't really like the. I don't like the plugins. Like if I want plugins, I'll go to my computer. You know what I mean? I don't really like that plugin kind of thing. Um, and I don't really like the. I like the limitation of like a certain sample length. It's like you have to be really clever with how you use your sample time. Um, I prefer that over kind of the these sort of like new like unlimited space kind of samplers, you know what I mean? Like, but yeah, I bought one. I messed with it a bit. I made some cool stuff on it, but nothing that I was like I need to keep this thing, you know what I mean? But anyway, yeah, so I got my I don't know if you guys caught the intro. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But I got my SP404 Mark II hooked up right now, so I have a microphone so we can hear the 4-track today. Or the 4-track, the 8-track. Because I still got this thing. I bought a new tape. So we'll just test it out. Nothing crazy. Um, but yeah, I'd take an MPC 60 in a second. Probably my fave sounding sampler. Yeah, they did do, I don't know if you had an MPC one or one of the new MPCs. They have like a mode on it that you can that it does like an emulation of that kind of sound. But again, I wasn't really a fan of it. I wasn't really a fan of it, but just kind of interesting that they do all that stuff now. I'm microphone obsessed this week. Okay. Like playing no Elvis today. No Elvis. I got this little this looks like it's in good shape. I got Rye Cooter. The tape looks like it's in better condition. That's why I bought it. And this was like the best thing that I could find at the thrift store. So we'll try this guy. Um, hopefully you guys can hear the audio this week. Um, I don't know what it is. The microphones on this MacBook or yeah, MacBook I got. Is that what I have? MacBook, yeah. Um, it like cuts out like a lot of the background noise, and I guess it's because it's probably the microphone's probably designed for um, what do you call it? Like video chat and stuff like that. But anyway, yeah. So, anyways, I'm kind of curious because if this if yeah, like Abnorm says, if Rye has some deep cuts, some breaks, we'll see. We'll see. So here's our 8-track. We'll see. So, well, we know that the Johnny Cash was not a good was not a good tape. So this week we're gonna try Rye. Hopefully it works. Oh yeah? Interesting. Interesting. I just picked it up because the cover looks awesome. Look at that. He's driving like a convertible with like a storm in the background. Looks pretty cool. Track listing, you know, looks like it could be good. There's one called Demolition Blues. That seems like, pretty good. But anyway, let's plug this thing in and see if it works. Oh, the radio's on. All right. Actually, let me put on the radio. I'm going to turn on the microphone that I have. And you guys let me know if you can actually hear the radio this time. I just got like my 58 kind of thing, nothing crazy. Can you guys hear that? Did you guys hear that radio stuff? I'll just wait for a second while it kind of catches up because I know I'm a little bit behind. Anyway, hopefully you guys could hear that. Okay, awesome. Sweet, thanks. Thank you. That's great. All right, let's try Rye. Rye. Is that how you pronounce his name? Rye? Rye Cooter? And I'll turn on the microphone again. Hopefully. Um, I don't know if it's doing anything. Oof. It works. Well, sick. Can you hear that? Right? They're huge. Sweet. Cool.
What's volume? That one's volume.
Sweet. That's great. It works. I think. I mean, I don't know. I'm not familiar with the recording, um, but it seems like it works. Seems like it works. I think yeah, it was cutting in and out a bit. I think it was just kind of gearing up. By the way, random question. Any of you guys ever fiddle around with MEMS I2C mic breakout module? There's one on Adafruit that's a digital mic, so no converting needed, I guess. Yeah. Um I haven't I was actually looking at that module. Um I was actually looking at that module before I went with the module that I did for the ESP32 sampler. Um, I haven't purchased it yet, but I would like to take a look at it because it's, as you said, it's digital, so it's a lot easier to use, and there's a lot less. Apparently, it's like the noise floor is really it's a lot lower on it and stuff, so might be worth looking into. Um, if you're doing, I know Ed, you were saying that you wanted to add a microphone to your project, or at least build another project with a microphone. That might be, I would look into that one. I really would, because the analog stuff, the analog signal is a real, you know, there's a lot of extra crap that you have to do, right? And then you have to do all that juggling with the ADC and stuff. And I found that I had to add that active filter to my signal to get rid of a lot of noise and stuff. So it would definitely cut down on the amount of circuitry that you would need um, for whatever project that you want to do. And yeah, I Abnorm, I know that it was doing that. I don't know if it's just like if it was just sort of like the motor getting used to it, but it's also like I have to hold up the tape a little bit while it's in there, and it could be because the front panel's off. So um, that front panel might hold up the tape a little bit. So let's try this again. Sweet. Awesome. Yeah, it works. This thing works. And the tape out sounds a lot better than the last week I was getting a lot of noise coming from this thing. Um, and it seems like it's just the radio. Because when I go the line out on this thing, it's a lot less quiet. It's a lot less buzzy. I never heard of it. Yeah. Nice. I had gone with an electric for a future project. Yeah, so I'll use that at least. Right. I think it is just I2S out, Brian. I think you're right. It's actually, yeah, it's a lot, there's a lot less fiddling involved in getting it working, that's for sure. I know nothing about ESP32 or any of these modules. I'm analog. Yep, yep, yep. Yeah, all those modules are really nice and they're pretty what's the word I'm looking for? Pretty approachable, Abnorm. So if you ever get into it, if we ever get this our project when we get the SP1200 off the ground, it'll be a lot it won't be that intense for you to get it going. That's for sure. All right. Well, I don't know. I'm feeling like I'm just gonna put this thing back together because I don't feel like fiddling around with it anymore. All good, man. All good. Yeah, I'm gonna put this. I'm gonna hook this up into my stereo upstairs. I'm gonna use it upstairs, and start. Yeah, exactly, Brian. It's just electronic Lego. Exactly. It makes it super simple. Super simple. But yeah, I think I'm done this. I'm just gonna hook it up to my stereo upstairs, and just call it fixed. It works. It works enough for me. You know what I mean? I think really it's just the quality of the tape when it comes down to it. So I'm gonna call this guy finished. You know, the volume knob sounds good. There's no scratchiness. Let's just put it back together. Call it a day. Still got to figure out what I'm doing with my Vic. So that's gonna. Uh, it was, yeah. I did get the Zoom working again. It was literally just pulling out the SD card and putting in a new one. I guess it corrupted or something. Um, by the way, with that SP1200 build, do you guys want to do like an SD card module on there? I think that would be a nice modern touch. Um, and I know that Brian's got he's got some experience with the SD card module too, so he could probably fill us in on how well the audio works streaming from it. Yeah, exactly, exactly. Ed, did you use an SD card on your little 202 sampler too? Yeah. Yeah, I think it would be nice to have some external storage, and it would be nice to have like an OLED screen. Um, for I don't necessarily think we have to go as far deep into sort of um like it being useful for editing samples, but I think it would be cool to use it for menu stuff. Like being able to adjust the attack and release on samples and stuff. An SD card module would be cool. I was trying to work out line in and line out for a future project, but was trying to work out how simple to wire those to a microcontroller on a compact size. Right, right. I think there's likely a digital module that we could get that would easily be a stereo input on an SD and on an SP1200 style sampler. I think possibly like an I2S, line in, ready to go. Yeah, I went with a micro SD card module. Then I came across your videos and picked up a Teensy. Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. That came with an SD card slot. Right. Yeah, we could look into that one. I'm gonna look around though. Um, and because I don't know how intense how crazy it's going to be to build in sort of like sequencing stuff, and how much space that's going to take up, because it could be pretty crazy. So we want to make sure that we get a microcontroller and with enough space to handle that kind of, because it's really like designing an operating system, right? Um, yeah, I'm gonna have to really dig in and do a lot of research. Um, okay, okay, good to know. Yeah, yeah, sorry, Brian, I forgot about that. Yeah, why not just USB storage? Yeah, that's a good point too. That's a good point too. Yeah, it would be kind of cool to be able to just be able to stick in a memory stick, right? Or like an external hard drive. That would be really cool. I just don't know how involved that is. Yeah, that would be really that I do like that idea a lot. I just don't know um I just don't know what's involved in getting that sort of like uh yeah, working with sort of like these basic microcontrollers that we're looking at, like if we're looking at sort of like an S3 or I've done yeah, like an SD might be easier because those you can get pre-made modules and I've made my own module before um for an SD card. I worked on like a stereo camera project and I did SD card module for saving and storing all the photos and stuff. Um, so yeah, uh, I've done that in the past. So I know it's pretty straightforward. It's just about getting like the timing down with other if we decide to go with other modules that use the same protocol. Yeah, yeah, I get it, Abnorm. Yeah, yeah, I get that. But sometimes it's nice to just have somebody's input who doesn't really know this stuff, and you're kind of like, give me what you would want. You know what I mean? It is just SPI. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Ed just said, I imagine it would be like a TX6 where you can record stuff straight to a USB-C. Right. We could look into it for sure. I'll look into it. I'm not sure if there's like a if there's a simple way to do USB storage on those sort of microcontrollers. Definitely have to look into it. I'll look into it for sure. Um, yeah, I was thinking too. I don't know what you guys think about this, but um, I was thinking about actually starting like a um, like a Patreon in the future anyway. Um, so maybe that would be sort of like a good place to kind of collaborate on stuff because I know you can like share files and stuff. And obviously I would do like for this project there would be like all kinds of tiers or whatever. So if somebody wanted to support the project financially, they could, but then there would be a free tier where you still get access to stuff, you know what I mean? But maybe I'll look into that too because that would be a really good spot for us to like share ideas and stuff too, right? So I guess if you're not careful about them, you can lose them easily. I got several though. I believe XC is faster than HC's SD's, right? And true, Brian, they are SPI. Yeah. Yeah, I was doing the camera project I had done was an SPI project. Or sorry, it was a stereo camera project, and they both happened to be, all of them happened to be SPI devices. So I had to juggle the timing a lot with multiple SPI devices. But I think the digital microphone that you were talking about, Ed, was I2C or I squared S or whatever, right? So I think we should be good if we kind of keep the audio on a different kind of like protocol in that regard, right? Mind you, I don't have a ton of experience with I squared S stuff, so um, yeah, so it'd be something we'd have to look into. But yeah. Cool. I like that idea though. It's a great idea. Actually, I'm just gonna move myself out of the way. I'm gonna keep um, putting this thing back together. Let me just do that, and we can keep chatting about this project. Right. Yeah. Yeah. A smaller footprint would be good too. It would be cool to get. Um, it would be cool to do that. To do a ribbon microphone too. Yeah, that would be really fun. I've seen people like make them from scratch on on YouTube where they build the actual cap, like the all the components and stuff. It's pretty neat. What am I looking for? I need to put the panel back on. That's what I need to do. But yeah, once I'm done the ESP32 sampler, I think I'm gonna do a couple more quicker kind of builds and stuff. Not quicker, but just stuff that's not gonna take like 12 weeks for the rest of the summer. And then in the fall, I'm gonna dive into the SP1200. Yeah, they are pretty pricey. Yeah, it's true. They are pretty pricey. Um, yeah, it's kind of neat though. It's neat either way. Like there's some guys who do like really incredible stuff. Uh, where's my screwdriver? I'll just use this one. Oh, you guys can't even see that. Jeez, I'm putting the front panel back on. Am I unplugged? I am unplugged. Okay. Just got this little tiny screwdriver I'm using for putting this thing back together. I'm glad that this thing works. Really am. Very pleased. Now I can start digging through all those, get some of those cheap 8 tracks. You know what I mean? And I'm kind of curious too what you guys think about the format that I've been kind of doing the videos in. Because, like, do you like the individual parts? You know, like where I do each step along the way of the sampler. Did you like that, or did you or do you prefer like when people go away for you know a month or whatever and then develop a project and then just like drop it? Kind of curious what you guys think about that because yeah, I just want to you know try and get more people watching the videos and stuff, and participating and kind of like what we're doing here, you know. So I'm just kind of curious what you guys like. If you like the individual parts, like where I have like the 12 part of the ES the you like the individual parts. Okay. Okay, cool. Cuz YouTube tells me that I'm doing it wrong. And you know what I mean? Like it's telling me that I should be doing like, like a big, like go away and then get this project and then do a big reveal kind of thing. But I don't know, I like it where it's like individual parts personally, where it's like digestible, and I get a chance to like go into like a little bit of detail of how it's done. Um, yeah, I'm glad I'm not the only one. Because as I kind of said before, like this is kind of what I'm doing now, right? Okay, okay, that's cool. Yeah, yeah, that's totally cool. Yeah, that's interesting though. Okay, I like the vintage stuff too. That's why I try to do like I try to do like a good. I'm trying to get like a good balance because I like repairing this kind of stuff and I like messing around with like the Vic and stuff like that. And so I'm trying to find a good balance. we'll put this cake in the oven, and we already made one off camera to save time. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, I like the small parts. Gives me a chance to think about what you've done in between each part. Okay. Okay, cool. Well, that's good to know because like I said, yeah, like the way that YouTube like they have like I don't know if you guys are have ever made like any of these kinds of videos and stuff. Um but it like gives you like suggestions on how to like, increase your viewership and stuff. And one of the ways it was telling me to do it is sort of like, like you get like these clickbaity kind of like titles or whatever, like I've been secretly building a, drum sampler for the past 2 months and this is how it sounds, kind of shit like that. You know what I mean? And like, I don't know. I prefer it like in more of kind of like a bite size kind of like way of doing it. Nah, I'm a bad YouTuber. Yeah, yeah, fair. But yeah, I mean, maybe I could like sprinkle in. I feel like I could like sprinkle in stuff like that. Like I don't need to like do like Baz fuss pedal. It doesn't need to be broken down to like into like a 4-part project. It can just be like, hey, this is the schematic that I did. This is how I built it. Here's a sound demo. End of story. You know what I mean? Or whatever. Or whatever kind of thing. Yeah, I'm going to ignore YouTube. I am going to ignore YouTube. Um, it's just, yeah. I don't know why it. I guess it's just sort of like that's the way the algorithm works, I guess. But I feel like this is like more of like a slow and steady kind of build. You know what I mean? Um, I prefer this way, so I think I'm just gonna stick with this method. I'll be right back. I just gotta go find the wooden enclosure for this thing. I don't know where I put it. I'll be right back, guys. What did I do with it? What the heck? I don't know what I did with it. I have no idea where it went. I have no idea where it is. How do you lose a wooden enclosure? It's like literally a wooden box. Oh, there it is. I found it. Let's go. Here we go. I got it. 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 Here we go. Here it is. Okay. Let's get this guy back in here. Oh, I've also next week I've got a repair project that I'm probably gonna be doing a live stream for. Yeah, exactly. Um, it's this uh, a friend of mine. He plays in a band, and they've got a couple effects processors that are apparently the screens aren't working. So I think I might open those on the live stream next week if that's something that would interest you guys. I think it's the Boss GT1 effects processor. It's got like a whole bunch of, like I think it's got like amp simulators and stuff in it. But apparently it works perfectly. they sent it back to the manufacturer, and they basically said, "Well, we can't fix it because we don't make it anymore." So, so yeah, we're gonna take a look at it because they want it fixed. They want the screens to work. So, yeah, I'll, I'll, yeah, I'll try to save it for the live stream. I gotta check. I think I'm getting it today. I think I'm getting both of them today, from the guy. So, um, I'll have to ask him when he needs it back because I'm not sure if they're still using them for live shows and stuff because I know they gig a lot. So, but yeah, moving up in the world, eh? Getting repair requests. So that's kind of cool. What's Ed saying? I had a PCB made a while back. While it's easy enough on Easy EDA, maybe it was components, but the boards were for like a minimum $70. Ouch. Yeah, yeah. It's. I know that the boards themselves. I've done projects with PCB way before. When I was in college, I worked for the college, and I made like a digital trainer for the college to use. And we did, so it had like a whole bunch of like CMOS chips on it and stuff, and a microcontroller that you could use to, um, just make circuits and stuff. So I designed it for the class, and then we used PCB Way um, for the PCBs to make the PCBs, and um, the PCBs themselves weren't that expensive. It was like it was the what do you call it? The import fees was like customs. That was like the most expensive thing because I think they ship from China. But I was really impressed with the PCBs. Like they were awesome, and they actually have uh, you actually work with somebody. I think it's five. I think five is the minimum order. It's really low though. But I've also used a place called for a project for school. I used a place called uh, Gold Phoenix. And the cool thing about Gold Phoenix is there's no you can get on like you can like hop on an order kind of thing. So if you have like a board, let's say you just want one board made, um, you can do that, and you can basically like just like hop on somebody's order if they're printing like a certain size or whatever, and you kind of get like a discounted rate on it as well, which is really cool. Um, Actually, I have a board available. One sec, I'll be right back. I have a board. This was for like a school project that I did, uh, and it's like it was like it was like a PCB. It was like a MIDI project with the ESP32 and some sensors. Never really got it working, but the quality of that Gold Phoenix place is solid. So might be something I consider doing in the future. But I think for this time, I'm just gonna go with PCB Way because they have like really good customer service, and since it's the since it's a board that I'm kind of doing on my own, um, while I've had like people look over the board and stuff, but they kind of do like a spot check for stuff in terms of like the manufacturing side, and they have somebody that you're actually chatting with, kind of thing, and talking to. So yeah, there we go. It's done. Got to put the knobs back on, and we're done. And then I can hook it up, and I can listen to Ry Cooter upstairs. Would you ever revisit that MIDI project? Yes, it's something that I've actually I do want to do. Um, I've got a pretty neat idea to kind of expand the functionality of it, um, which would be really fun. So yes, that is something that I'm going to do. It's very cheap to the UK. If I keep the board size to 100 mil, right? Okay, yeah. So like 10 by 10 centimeters, right? I think is that right? 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters. That's pretty good. Under $5. That's crazy. Because like here, I'm getting it shipped to Canada, and it's like it's not cheap because like the customs alone is pretty expensive. But as I said, I'm kind of like just like I want it to be like a really I wanted the quality to be good for the sampler, so I'm willing to pay a little bit, you know. That's really cheap though. That's great. Okay. All right. There we go. One more and then we're done. We're done. No, not FM. Oh, shit. There we go. There we go. Awesome. Okay. There we go. 8-track player. Going on the going on the stereo upstairs. It's done. We can move on with our lives. So yeah, next week, assuming that they don't need those effects processors back super quick, um, yeah, I'll do it on next week's live stream. I'll do uh, I'll do the repair. So if you guys want to check that out, swing by. Um, I have to book the uh, the beat making thing too for this week, which I think I need to do it tomorrow. If I sent you parts, would you have to pay an import duty on it? I think so. I think so. Yeah. Yeah. Bottle of vino. Little rye cooter. Lovely. What a night. But yeah, I think I'm gonna do a beat making thing again tomorrow night. Um, because I've got plans. I have some plans on Saturday night with the fam. So it'll be difficult for me to do Saturday night. But yeah, I think I might do tomorrow night. And I might not do Ableton this week just because, like, I'm kind of, I don't know, want to change it up again. I've actually got a analog pocket with nano loop on it. So maybe we'll do some, like, 8-bit stuff tomorrow night. I think that would be fun. Oh, really? I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Lists it as a gift. Okay. Good to know. Interesting. Hot tip. I like it. I like it. That's awesome. Good spot there. Good to know. Yeah, so I'm gonna book the beat making thing though for tomorrow night. We'll mess around with some 8-bit stuff. I don't really know how to use Analog Pocket or the Nano Loop that well, but we'll mess around with it. And I'll just yeah, awesome. Yeah. I mean, the thing is too is like it's not shipping because like electronic components are not heavy, right? But yeah. So, anyways, hopefully get that PCB out soon. Hopefully, I'll get that out soon. Next couple days, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Gonna do some framing tomorrow in the basement on the other side. Get that finished. Okay. Nice. Yeah, I've got a bunch of spare stuff too. I usually order a couple because I assume that I'm gonna blow it up or fry it. So anyway, well, good chat today, guys. Good chat. That's great. Um, yeah, the A track works. We had a good chat about the SP 1200. This is great. Great stuff. Great stuff. Um, okay, cool. Nice. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Take it easy, guys. And yeah, I'll talk to you soon. Anyway, yeah, I'll probably be online tomorrow night. So if you're bored, feel free to stop by. If not, all good in the hood. And yeah. All right. Take it easy, guys.